CA Praveen Bangad, on behalf of Aurangabad branch of WIRC of ICAI, welcome you all. Today, we have speaker Nitin Bhutta sir with us from the Mumbai on the topic, very hot topic. हम बोल सकते हैं कि अगर हम अभी सबसे ज्यादा ट्रोल होने वाला टॉपिक अगर हमारे फील्ड में देखेंगे तो ये वो वाला टॉपिक है कि इनकम टैक्स वेबसाइट. So we have today's topic is ITR on new income tax portal and special question and answer. As sir already mentioned that he has covered so many questions in his slide itself. So that will be a good. Now I request Pankaj Soni, to the chairman of Aurangabad branch, to have a welcome remarks. Pankaj, over to you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, Nitin Bhutta ji. We are linked with each other on WhatsApp since years, and since June, when this income tax portal, new income tax portal issue has come up, I have been discussing it with the chairman, Direct Tax Committee, C.V. Chitle sir, about it, and of course, I came to know that you are one of those chartered accountants who is deeply involved in this process. So we thought, okay, let us have a session on this new income tax portal related ITRs and issues, and a question answer session on this. So that's how we contacted Nitin sir, and he immediately agreed for it. When I was discussing with Nitin Bhutta ji, तो इतना बड़ा ये area हो गया है because of the new income tax portal and all other related issues, कि कितने in totality कितने glitches है, क्या नए issues किसको आ सकते हैं, ये किसी भी एक व्यक्ति को not a single person knows all the glitches or all the issues, and maybe not all the remedies could be resolved. But then we thought, at least let us take a step further. जितने issues resolve हो गए, at least उतने तो हम लोग ये कर सकते हैं, और उतना तो हम members के लिए benefit pass on कर सकते हैं. So that is why we are having a very learned speaker, Nitin Bhutta ji, here. And as usual, when I discuss about having such a good seminar with our co-host branches, Ahmednagar and Akola, they immediately give us the response, and that is how we all come on a common platform and try to organize sessions for the benefits of the members. So I welcome Nitin Bhutta ji. I also thank Sandeep Desarda and Keyur Dedia for joining us in this important VCM. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you, Pankaj. As you have already correctly mentioned that जितने भी अभी तक at least resolve हो चुके हैं वो issues हम discuss कर लेते हैं. Maybe future में फिर से सर का और एक seminar हम रख सकते हैं.
और इसमें और कोई नया ग्लिच होगा तो वो भी नितिन सर को पता चल जाएगा. So it would be even a learning session for him also.
Yes. So now we'll get to know who is a Nitin sir. So I request Keyur Dadia, the chairman of Akola branch, to have introduction of the sir. Keyur, over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Praveen bhai. At first, a very warm good afternoon to one and all. Good afternoon to Nitin sir and all the members over here. It gives me an immense pleasure and a good warm welcome first to our today's speaker, CA Nitin Bhutta sir. Nitin Bhutta sir, professionally and educationally, he is a BCom graduate, a CWA and FCA. One of the good things about his education part is that sir became a chartered accountant just 16 days before the completion of his articleship training. And this year he completed 29 years of his practice in August 21. Congratulations, sir, for that part. And sir was a third rank All India at the intermediate level of ICAI examination. Nitin Bhutta sir is a regular writer of articles which are published in public digital domains like the GSTAPM magazine, Tax Guru, CA Club India. Sir has successfully completed the course of independent director studies conducted by the BCAS and SP Jain Institute of Management Studies. Sir is a regular speaker at WIRC, NESN, GST certification courses, as well as at various study circles in Mumbai and outside Mumbai on GST. He is one of the panelists on WIRC for resolving the queries on GST 9 and 9, as well as the founder member cum honorary treasurer of Confederation of GST Professionals and Industries representing GST on pan-India basis. With his industry exposure, during his training as well as after he has established his practice in 1992, Sir has a wide exposure to various industries like advertisement, entertainment industry, research, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, banking, and many more. Sir also has industry exposure with regards to event management, business process outsourcing, film production companies, etc. Currently, he is actively involved with limited scale of doing audits, direct and indirect taxes, management advisory, as well as handling of litigation matters of corporate as well as non-corporate persons up to the tribunal level. Currently, one of the most important what we can say is that Sir is one of those 10 CAs who are associated with the Infosys and they are working on the various glitches that we have faced or the people are facing on the income tax portal. Apart from above, he enjoys traveling and reading a lot and has traveled to various parts of India and abroad. Without wasting much more time, I forward and hand over the charge further to you, Nitin sir, for the further. Nitin sir.
Thank you, Keyurji.
Thank you.
Just a minute. Just a minute. This is Praveen. Can you hear me?
Yes, Pankaj.
Yeah. Yeah, see, all the participants, you need not mention your membership numbers or that in chat box. We have, as of now, we have disabled the chat box for some time. We will enable the chat box for all the members in some after some time. For CP credit, we already have your database on the link that we have shared. So none of the members should be sharing their name and membership number in the chat box, because in chat box there would be questions. So you know, in the flow of messages, we should not it should not happen that we might skip any message. So please be careful while chatting. That is one thing. Another thing, Nitin sir, my video is just off because there's some internet issue at my end. So I will be present here in the seminar, but my video is off.
No problem.
Over to you, Nitin sir.
No problem.
Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thank Aurangabad branch, Ahmednagar branch, and the Akola branch. I thank Pankaj Soni, Keyur Dedia, and the Sandeep Desrada for inviting me for this session. Pankaj has been discussing with me to do this session almost since July 2021. So when first time he called me up, he said ki he would like to do this session. I said ki what will I discuss in this particular session? Because there were glitches which all of us have seen from the launch, which happened on June 7th, 2021. And it went on increasing day by day. So I said, ki, if we were to do this particular session, let us have some cooling period and then plan this particular session so that we have some reasonable information which we can discuss with the participants and they can try to understand ki what is gone and what is the objective here of doing the change of website from version 1 to e-filing version 2. So given this particular background, I would like to say that I'm a novice. I know very little than what has been said about me. I have tried to validate the issues personally or through my connects. And we are all 10 of us are rigorously working to get the resolution in the interest of all the members. Just to state, today afternoon, there were glitches in the form number ITR2 as well as ITR3, which were notified to the team members or the respective stakeholders, and they have been addressed prima facie. So probably, as I understand, from all people can file ITR 1, 2, 3, and 4 as applicable to particular cases. ITR 7 is not fully enabled. 5 and 6 will still take the time. Tax audit is still not enabled. And many other features on the portal are still not enabled. So this is the starting with. Now I will start my presentation.
So some of the members have requested in chat box, maybe, a composition of language of Hindi and English that could create more interest.
I will try to, but I am most used to talking only in English. I will try to use the combination language, but by default, I only speak in English. Because if I speak in Hindi, I will try to find the words, which will not be easier for me. So please kindly pardon with me, but the presentation will explain everything. So don't worry on that particular front. All members can be rest assured as far as that is concerned. Okay, so usually all the speaker will put their disclaimer in the end, but I'm the person who starts with the disclaimer. I will say that whatever I'm going to explain, they are my personal views. They are not binding on the ICI or a branch or a study circle as applicable. My views may be correct or incorrect as they are formed based on my opinion and the understanding of the subject. I request each member to go through the law provisions before accepting anything at the face value. And during the presentation, if I give any examples and they get resembled to your clients or yourself, then it is a purely coincidental that such information is matching. But I have no information about anybody and I have no intention to disclose anybody's affairs in a public domain. So when the topic was on the income tax return was to be deliberated, the first thought that came to my mind, it is back to school, because all of us were so much used to old income tax portal. When the new portal was to be launched on 7th June, everybody was curious as to what will be the features. Will it benefit? Whether it will reduce the processing time of 63 days to 1 day. If I file my returns, will I get my income tax refund on the next day. But with all sorts of expectations, when it was launched, we saw what happened. So even I was too curious. I'll tell you, we had finalized a couple of audit reports also in the month of May, as our clients were ready with the data. And we were supposed to file the audit reports on the old portal. But we said, let us file it on the new portal because we don't know what will come out, whether the transition will happen smoothly or it will not happen smoothly. And the other reasons of not filing the audit reports in the month of May, there are certain options which were not applicable in the audits, were not edited by the system itself, and it is still not edited. So we said, let's don't file such audit reports. And given that background, when the website was launched, we started the journey of exploration. And it was like an ocean, jumping into the ocean to find out what is in store for everyone. Are we going to get the pearls, or are we going to get anything else? So when we started doing the exploration, we touched upon the iceberg of glitches, and which created a lot of ripples amongst all the stakeholders. When I say stakeholders, it includes the government, it includes the Infosys, it includes the professionals, it includes the chartered accountants, it includes the assessees also. And we were like wondering, what will happen? What is happening? When it will get resolved? Will it be resolved? What is the time frame that we are looking at the resolution? And still today, glitches are encountered by each one of us in many aspects. They may be related to a specific assessee, or it can be a general glitches, or it can be portal issue, or some functionality is not enabled till today by the Infosys team. So when we looked at the income tax returns which were notified, as well as the instructions that were notified for doing the compliance of income tax returns, the first question when I was studying this for the topic, I said, is it a old wine into new bottle, or is it a complete new wine itself? According to me, what I understand, it is an old wine only. There is no change as compared to the old system of compliances that we were doing for the filing of the income tax returns. Besides, what changes which we are introduced by the Finance Act every year, and such changes we need to adapt to the compliances that everybody has to do on a regular basis. So when we look at the first glance of the website, it is more or less built on the concept of dashboard, where everything is available at a glance to the assessee, and he has to navigate from one feature to another feature to find out what is happening. and what are the options that are available to every advisor or a stakeholder. I will be using the word stakeholder as a common because it is applicable to everyone. Host of features are provided and self-help options are available at the click of the mouse when we click any of the options on the portal. Basically, when we look at all these particular aspects, the intention is the assisted filing to everyone. And they have come out with the Tax Genie also, which was not there in the old portal, which is built on the concept of artificial intelligence, where predetermined sets of questions and answers have been inbuilt into the system of Tax Genie, because it will direct you, it will explain you what is to be done if you type the right questions. And if we look at one of the significant feature on the portal which is beneficial to the assessee is the instant e-PAN, whereby if you have a valid Aadhaar number and if you apply for a PAN number within 10 minutes or within maximum 24 hours, the PAN number in the digital form is allotted to any of the taxpayers, and which is considered as a valid document for the purpose of all the requirements which one can use the PAN for. This is and plus there is no cost involved for availing such a service. You can find out everything that is required on the portal. You can navigate the help where it is provided for each of the aspects of this particular portal. But what happens? Each one of us doesn't spend that much time studying the navigation features of the portal. So we find we are not used to how do we proceed. So if we spend some reasonable time on the portal, earlier when the portal was launched, there was an issue of a speed. Logins were not happening, profiles were not getting created. Even a new PAN number which were allotted, the profile were not getting created. That all stands resolved. If we look at the research reports in a public domain, average download speed is 10 Mbps and the upload speed is 2 Mbps. At least that is the minimum speed that is required for doing the jobs or doing the compliances on this particular portal. Till today also, Aadhaar OTP issues, e-verification of income tax return through net banking or a DMAT is happening in some cases, is not happening in some cases. Filing of the certain classes of the income tax returns, especially in case of the HUF, where it is an ancestral HUF and where the profile issues of date of birth are prevalent, they are not getting filed. But these are all when we look at the project from a 360-degree view and looking at the magnitude that is involved in developing such a platform, such issues are bound to arise, because testing of the functionality appears that it has not been 100% carried out, and which has been notified in the public domain by the government also. But a lot of people are working in the background to seek the resolutions, or to get the resolutions, or to expedite the matters in the interest of everybody. As we know, due dates are approaching, but recently the extensions have been issued for certain segments of compliances where the dates have been extended reasonably. So I expect even a similar kind of extensions may be provided for post 15 September 2021. Sorry. So when we look at the features of the portal, a lot of videos are also posted on the new portal that explains what are the features that are available on the portal and how they can be used, which we may watch, or if we do the hands-on testing while doing the filing of the returns, we can understand. And if we are getting stuck, we can watch the respective videos so that it explains how it is to be done. As compared to a lot of issues which were prevalent, a lot of have been resolved. And I'm not advocating anybody. There has been an issue which has been admitted also, and people are trying to resolve. And it is going to take some time, but it will definitely be resolved. Similarly, for every information that we update or a change, or we file the documents, typically we receive the email as well as the SMS from the portal on the registered mobile number as well as the email ID in the profile of the assessee. But till now, whatever the income tax returns are getting filed, the confirmation email for filing the same, which we used to receive on the old portal, till now it is not getting received, and we are not getting the acknowledgement also on the email so far. It needs to be downloaded. Download of the income tax acknowledgement as well as the download of the income tax return which we have filed had certain issues. It was not getting auto-populated on a real-time basis. Sometimes it used to get reflected after 24 hours or 72 hours, but it was. If you encounter such kind of a situations again, then I sincerely suggest people should not attempt to file the same return again and again. And because of that, such issues, there has been a news in a public domain that for the same assessment year, 3 returns were filed. But that is more of a ignorance of a person who was filing, and there was a system issue which permitted such filing of the IT returns. But now it appears that it might have been addressed, and at least that is we have observed that now multiple filing of the return is not happening, but you can never know. Same problem may resurface again because of some changes that happens at the back end, which is not in the control of anybody technically. But it has been provided. So if anybody is filing the return and you don't get the confirmation, then I sincerely suggest wait for some time and then go for the resolutions. Even a revised returns are regularly getting filed absolutely smoothly. It had inherent issues, but it has been addressed more or less now. Similarly, if you look at if you want to know anything, you go to a section of things to know, where downloadable brochures are also available, which one can refer and can understand what are the steps to be followed by each of us for doing a compliance. So my basic structure of the presentation is the formulation, objective, and the meaning, commonly used terms. What are the some changes that are applicable for AY 21-22? Illustrative foundation of income tax returns, some peculiar issues of income tax return, as well as what we are facing on the ITD portal. They might be continuing as of today, or they might have been resolved as I speak. Some aspects of e-filing process, e-verification, DSC registrations, and assisted filing. Do and don'ts of income tax returns filing, and the conclusions. So this is the broad coverage of the session, and I've been requested to keep the reasonable time for question answers. So I'll be running wherever it is required to be run in a jiffy. So when I look at the technology developments in the space of income tax, we know income tax law is prevalent almost 100 years, that is 10 decades. But the technology drive that got initiated is in the last 2 decades, where DIT system was established in 1981, followed by introduction of a PAN in 1984. ITD portal was launched in 2003. When that portal was launched, we will call it as a version 1. Even that had a lot of issues, but it gradually got stabilized, and all of us had enjoyed the fruits of such development, and we were very, very comfortable using that portal. Then electronic filing of the income tax return was introduced in 2004. And from that year onwards, we have been filing all our returns only electronically. We have not filed a single return manually after that, unless and until it was very emergency requirement. Again, some changes were done in 2005 in PAN. Electronic challan was introduced in 2005. TDS and the corporate returns were introduced in 2006, whereby it was made mandatorily to file the same electronically. CPC was established in 2009. Some other changes were introduced. E-assessment was introduced in 2016. Again, it got expanded, the scope. E-assessment scheme was launched in 2019. Then faceless assessment scheme, which we are seeing today, was introduced in August 2020, followed by the appeal in September 2020. And even a tax charter was introduced in August 2020. Faceless penalty was introduced in January 2021. A new portal was launched on 7 June 2021. And tribunal June 2021. And now in future, we can see everything that is getting developed using the technology. and intention will be to optimize the use of technology to the best possible manner. And all of us are required to get geared up to the tech developments. We need not be master of technology, but we need to have a reasonable knowledge of technology so that we can operate, function, maintain such options within our premises for our clients, for ourselves, or we can train our staff accordingly. Tax ecosystem, we will be concentrating only on the income tax law. We know acts, rules, forms, circulars, notifications, and broadly heads of income, which are 5, which all of us are aware of. For each of the heads of the income, directions are given, discretions are provided, restrictions are provided, what can be claimed, what exemptions can be provided, what benefits can be passed on, and what benefits cannot be availed by the assessee or any stakeholder. And prohibitions, even a prohibition is provided. And for each of this, documentation is introduced. Forms are provided, procedures are laid out, and alternative remedies are provided. And for every such aspect, correspondingly directions, discretions, restrictions, and prohibitions are also notified under the Act, either by way of policy decisions or by way of substantial law or procedural law. Similarly, what is allowed, what is deductible, what is not allowed, what is not deductible, what are the time limits, what are the penalties apply, what are the demand and recovery provisions, in what scenarios prosecutions will apply if defaults are committed.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we have a PPTs which is related to the portal issue? So we have a very limited time and so many questions are coming. That
No,
will
everything will come. Don't worry. Don't worry on that front.
Okay.
So basically, this is what we are concerned with. We will be concerned with the part which is the transactions, books of accounts, financial statements, computation, self-assessment, ITR and TAR. Below part, we are not concerned because we are not discussing. We'll be doing the ascertainment, and the below part is a determination. So we'll be concentrating on the above part in the discussions. When we report the transactions, essentially, method of accounting will play the significant role, which can be either mercantile or a cash system of accounting, and it is permitted based on the constitution of the assessee. And based on the recording of the transactions, be it a capital transaction or a revenue transactions, we'll be drawing up the financial statements. AIR, annual information reports, specified financial transactions, and the 26 AS will play a significant role. Tax treatment will decide whether how it is to be treated in the books of accounts, what benefits, deductions, and the exemptions is permissible. Documentation and reporting, TDS, TCS, advanced tax, self-assessment tax, GST, and working in compliances. Audit and related party transactions, computation, and the ITR reporting, where whatever we are reporting in the financial statement should match with the computation as well as the ITR reporting. And if ICDS is applicable, that is only in the computation part, And if the accounting standard is applicable, that is to be given an impact in the books of accounts, otherwise not to be done. Now, these are the various accounting standards where we have to report the positive impact as well as the negative impact in the IT return as well as in the tax audit reports. The most important question is, when we are reporting an immobile property where the income exceeds 50 lakh rupees, do we report the agricultural land? In my opinion, agricultural land is not an asset, so that is not required to be reported in such a schedule. Where the property can be residential, commercial, ancestral, inherited, based on the ownership, that is required to be reported in the schedule of assets and liabilities as applicable. It includes the farmhouses also. It can be self-owned or co-owned. Similarly, movable assets, jewelry, bullion, collections, drawings, vehicles, financial assets, shares, insurance policies, loans and advances, cash in hand. This all information is correlated using the technology, whether you correctly reported the income in your ITR or not. So if you are reporting such assets in this particular schedule but you are not reported the income, then the notices will flow in because everything is technology driven. Here question arises, if there is a clubbing of income involved and the asset is owned by the spouse other than the person who has given a gift, whether such asset is required to be reported in this particular schedule or not, in my opinion, no. Only the legal owner will report such asset. But in inherited assets where no cost details are available, what is to be done? Clarification is sought from the CBDT, but that is, as of now, that is not available. Like this website is based on the digital dashboard concept. Whatever the information that we have, even a department is having more information at their disposal. And this information on their dashboard, it keeps on changing. That's why I call it as a dynamic information. Department in future may ask everything on the form of a video conferencing, video telephony, or a software access. Electronic records are getting tremendous momentum. Similarly, whatever the documents that we are filing, it is also considered as a valid evidence as per the Evidence Act. Data sharing and the verification is happening simultaneously. Whatever you are uploading on the portal is getting shared with many departments. Information is typically uploaded in the form of a Word document, PDF, disk, cloud, data, or ERP systems. Stringent timelines are provided. Research is done by the system based on the data that we are filing. And since all the government departments are sharing the information with each other, so I call it is 720-degree profiling rather than 360-degree profiling. Security and privacy is a big concern, but any combinations can be used. These are the various common terms which has been used in the presentation. The most important question which everybody is asking, why JSON in place of the XML, which was there? JSON is considered to be ease of use. Its speed is also faster than XML. And because of that, this has been implemented. Other thing is MCA portal as well as the GST portal is also based on the JSON platform. And even Infosys is the developer of the same portals. So they are trying to synchronize the data of income tax vis-a-vis the other routine compliances that are applicable. Various returns that we are filing, they are voluntary, which is 139.1, 139.4, 139.5, and the modified return as well as the condonation return, which are filed typically voluntary by each one of us. And whereas if the notices are issued, then we are filing the defective returns or 142.1 returns or 148 returns. or search and seizure returns as applicable. Typically, 7 types of returns are there, where ITR 1 and 4 is the most simplest form of the IT returns. Of 2, ITR 1 is the most simple because it provides for only salary income, only one house property, and other income in the form of a bank interest and the pension income. And the limit of income is 50 lakh rupees, and clubbing of income under the same heads of income is provided for. And EVC, Aadhaar OTP, DSC and manual filing is provided only for the super senior citizens, not for anybody else. For rest of the people, it is only electronic filing only. Similarly, ITR 2 is for salary returns excluding the business income and who are not supposed to file ITR 1. ITR 3 is for the business income. ITR 4 is for the presumptive system of taxation. ITR 5 is for firm, LLP, company, AOI and body of individuals not eligible to file ITR 7, especially if they are other than who are claiming exemptions under section 11, they will file ITR 7. Companies will file in ITR 6 only. So when we look at the for ITR 1, it is a search. Conditions are provided ki if you have this kind of a situation which we have listed down below, then you can't file ITR 1, but then you have to file ITR 2. TDS deducted under section 194N, as well as TDS claim due to clubbing, they cannot file ITR 1 because under section 194N, if you have not filed the returns for 2 years, then you are not eligible for. Or if your cash withdrawals are more than 1 crore in a year, then also TDS will be deducted under section 194N. Whereas ITR 2 is not provided in case of the profit and gains of business or profession. Now, instructions provide that section 153 and 153C return cannot be filed, but that is technically wrong because for assessment year 21-22, the returns under section 153A and 153C can be filed. Option to avail the benefit of new tax regime is available in the form number ITR 1 as well as ITR 2 itself. You are not supposed to file form number 10IE separately. ITR 4 is easier return, only presumptive system of taxation. These conditions are provided. If you have this condition, then you cannot use the ITR 4. But ITR 4 is also not applicable to a resident and not ordinarily resident. Similarly, persons having speculative business income or agency business or commission or brokerage, they got to file ITR 3 only, and ITR 3, everything else can be filed. And this is applicable only for the resident assessees. If you want to opt for a new tax regime, then you got to file 10IE form, and that is to be filed before the due date of the IT returns. And such date of filing in the acknowledgement number is required to be reported in the ITR 3 and ITR 4. Now, for the business people, once the option is exercised under the new tax regime, it cannot be revoked unless you close down that particular business or you don't have any income from business at all. Whereas salaried persons can opt for the new tax regime every year, they can change every year. one issue that is there in the ITR form 4 is ki house property income, percentage of ownership cannot be reported, address of the property cannot be reported, probably it will be rectified. This is the diagrammatic representation of the sample. One can upgrade from 1 to 2, 3 and 4. Similarly, ITR 5 is applicable to this class of peoples. ITR 6 is only for the corporates. Everywhere there is a common mistake. The search and seizure returns cannot be filed in the instructions, but that is absolutely wrong. It can be filed. ITR 7, basically the charitable trust activities. If audit report is applicable, then it should be filed before filing of the return of income electronically. Only care should be taken. If you are claiming exemption under particular section, then under that section only you should report your income, and you should not report under any other heads of income. So that is to be taken care while filing the ITR 7. These are the due dates of filing the returns as provided as of now. Hopefully it will be extended. But if it is not extended, the last date of filing the return, belated as well as the revised return, is 31st January 2021. Now this is the new tax regime. This clarification is already provided, which I have told. It is to be opted in ITR 1 and 2. 3 and 4 people will file 10 IE and then they will report it. So when we exercise such an option of new tax regime, we will be giving up the exemptions, deductions, set off of loss, and the additional depreciation. And that's if you read the provisions of the law, both these sections are similarly worded and it provides the same options. So it is a calculated risk which government also takes while giving any benefits, because if they are giving the benefits, they will take away the benefits in other way around. And these are the slabs which are provided for the new tax regime. Surcharge remains the same. Additional education cess and the health surcharge, that remains the same. There is no change, whether you go for an old tax regime or a new tax regime. And this is required to be reported in the general information by both the entities as required. And this is similar to filing of the Form 67, which we file if there is a withholding taxes from the foreign sources where we are availing the double taxation avoidance tax benefits. So if we have opted for a new tax regime, then this is to be taken care while filing the returns. Otherwise, defective notices can be anticipated. And this plays a very important, if the tax audit is applicable, then this aspect has to be verified very significantly. Similarly, correspondingly changes have been done, reporting of various exemptions, deductions, and such amendments are introduced in the forms. Now here the question arises, if I opt for the new tax regime option, can it be withdrawn? Technically no, but the portal is showing the withdrawal option, but it is incorrect. If we read the provisions of the Act, it cannot be done. But if you have filed a return, original return, but then you decide, okay, I would like to go for the new tax regime, can it be done? In my opinion, it can be done, provided the due date is not expired. But such option cannot be exercised in case of the belated returns or a revised return filed after the due date. Or if the notices are received under section 139(1) or 142(1) or 148, or search and seizure return under section 153A or 153C, then such option cannot be exercised. These are the changes which are introduced under the 194N. Carry forward of TDS under section 194N is not provided for in any of the returns. It has to be compulsorily claimed as a refund. Dividend income is taxable in the hands of all the taxpayers, and you have to give the bifurcation as per the timelines provided in the IT returns, so that if you report it correctly, then you can get the benefit of the interest calculations under section 234B and 234C accordingly. And changes have been done in the IT returns accordingly. Deductions against interest expenses is also provided, subject to threshold limits, and suitable changes have been done in the IT returns. Domestic companies, ATM, which was there earlier, it has been rebrought on the same guidelines. There are no changes which were applicable. ESOP has been introduced, where the deferment of tax is provided, but such people cannot file ITR 1 and 4. So they have to compulsorily file either ITR 2 or ITR 3 as applicable. Marginal tax reporting is required to be done in the IT return, which was not there earlier, but probably that is for the purpose of the data analytics. Tax audit limit has been increased to 10 crores, where both the conditions are required to be satisfied. Cash receipts are not more than 5%, and payments is also not more than 5%. And at the same time, everything is done through account pay checks. And if the documentation of doing the transaction in the form of account pay checks is not available with the assessee, then the limit will be 1 crore only, not the 10 crores. And such special care should be taken to document such a transaction. For AY 2021, the limit was 5 crore. LLP is excluded because it is different ball game altogether. The important change, whatever the information that you are reporting in Schedule OI or Section 36 or Section 37 or Section 40 or 40A, 43B, or MSME interest or other deduction under Section 35, they have to be matched with the when you are filing the IT returns. This is provided in the instructions to the ITR returns. And if that is not matching, we will get the defective notice or 143(1)A adjustments, and we need to deal with the same accordingly. Couple of the peculiar issues. This year is a COVID-related impact, work from home, digital trail, online. Most of the transactions must have been done online. Residence issues. Section 53 and 153C, I have said it is provided under the Act, but the instructions say something else. But whatever is stated in the Act will provide. Complex business structure doesn't have the option of reporting the information each segment wise. That creates the issues, and the inquiries are initiated and the writ petitions are initiated for. Business codes correlation reporting is happening when monitoring through computerized system. Section 43B reporting has to be done meticulously. Tax audit disallowances to be done. Other expenses reporting, again, that is an issue. Only certain number of rows are permitted. Restructuring of assets and liabilities, personal and business has to be done in case of the individual businesses. Clubbing of income should be carefully reported. If you are claiming any exemptions, deductions, then properly documents should be verified. If you are claiming any TDS or TCS, then that is to be correspondingly verified with the books of accounts, and Rule 37BA has to be complied. ICDS only for computation, not for the books of accounts. Multi-year, multiple year TDS, where the advance rent for 5 years is received, but there is no option to carry forward for the partial year. That is the issue. Representation has been filed. Probably some relief may come in. Bad debts vis-a-vis method of accounting. If you are following the inclusive, then you can claim the write-off of the bad debts, including the other taxes levied on the invoice. But if you are reporting the excluding system of accounting, then taxes cannot be claimed as a write-off. If TDS is applicable, on rent you will deduct the TDS, but if the rent is paid plus maintenance is paid plus electricity is paid, and where the landlord says you pay maintenance directly to the society, then also TDS will apply, but same thing will not apply to the electricity while deducting the TDS under section 194I. Verification, very, very important. As just now your verification is getting printed in ITR 3, ITR 2 I am not confirmed, but ITR on 1 and 4 it was getting printed, but the date was not printed, but now I assume it is getting printed. Verification is very important because this is requirement is flows from the civil procedural law, and that will play a very significant role if we are filing the incorrect information, especially when we are reporting the turnover of up to 10 crore and claiming the exemption of not applicability of the tax audits. And if we wrongly declare, then the trouble can flow in to the assessee. All of us have seen unprecedented issues arising on account of the e-proceedings, where options of filing the responses on account of the defective notices or 143(1)A adjustments, rectifications are not happening. Income tax returns issues are there. TDS returns issues. Late fees are levied even when the due date is, when the return is filed before due date, but that issue appears to be addressed. Tax audit issues, forms are still not notified. Form 1 issue is still pertinent. Form 35, many people are still filing, struggling to file the Form 35. Vivad Se Vishwas scheme forms issues are still there. Some people are facing the issues, some people are not facing the issues, but now the date is extended, so we can have some relief. Many people are not able to file Form 10IE as applicable for opting for the new tax regime. And many people who have filed 10IE is not getting auto-populated because that information is getting updated on the portal after 7 days. House property reporting issue, it has been applicable only in case of the ITR 4. Verification issues all are facing. Profile issues more or less, but even if there is a profile is incomplete, it will not disable the process of filing the income tax returns for any of the taxpayer. Earlier, it was provided flashed on the portal. If the profile is not completed, you can't do this, or you cannot do this. But now that has been done away. Now even a reflection of a percentage of completion of profile, even that has been done away with. Other thing, in profile, if there are errors, it has been assured that it will not create the trouble, but sometimes we are finding the issues of misreporting of date of birth that has been brought to their notice, and probably that will stand rectified in future. Some time it will take. How much time it will take, I can't say. Legal hair issue appears to be addressed. whatever the documents that are required to be filed for registering as a legal heir under the representative assessees has to be complied, and then it is acted upon. Trust approval and the registration issues. Lot of issues everybody has encountered, but the dates have been extended. So some respites is there. Form 15 CA/CB. Still a lot of issues are there, but now the process of filing of Form 15 CA and CB has been converted from a single stage to a multiple stage, where for each stage approval is required. That is the change. But today, some banks are accepting, even after the extension of due date of 15th August, they are accepting the manual Form 15 CA/CB. Probably some further clarification may come, but informal guidelines have been provided to the bankers to accept the manual form that has been provided, as I understand, and as per our experience. But it varies from aspects to aspect. Now, when we are filing the income tax return, left-hand side we will drop or we will analyze all the information while compiling the returns. But whatever the various laws that are applicable to the assessee, that has to be taken into consideration, and based on that, income tax return has to be prepared and compiled accordingly. This utility was updated on 17th August 2021, ITR 124, and 527 was updated on 20th August 2021, but only ITR 7 is available as of now. 5 and 6 is not available. Basic systems requirements are provided on the portal. We just have to ensure we have this much options available on our system. Offline utilities are provided, online utilities are provided, and the software utilities provided. I recommend every option has got its own advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons. Offline and online utilities are free, whereas the software utility, if we buy from the private vendors, then it has a cost, but it has got a tremendous advantages in the sense that once the data is incorporated in the software, every year the import becomes easier and filing of the returns becomes much easier. My personal experience on filing on the portal using the offline utility as well as the online utility is little cumbersome, because most of the procedures or navigations we are not aware. We need to try to navigate, try to understand each feature, and then do the compliances. But if we do with the software, which if we are using it from ages, then it becomes really helpful. E-verifications. Other OTP, what we were doing earlier under the old portal, same thing. DSC is also the same. Net banking also the same. This time they have introduced the DMAT and ATM. EVC would be received wherever the system functions. It can be online as well as the offline. And once we file any documents, confirmation of SMS and the email is received by default. Only certain banks are allowed to do the e-verification through ATM, which is Axis Bank, Canara Bank, Central Bank of India, ICICI Bank, IDBI, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and State Bank of India. Only this banks ATM will have this option of e-verification through ATM. Otherwise, rest of the other options are to be, if the list is expanded, then other banks would be covered in future. Or because of some reasons, we are not able to e-verify the returns, then after logging out, we can go through e-verify return option, enter the PAN number, select the assessment year, acknowledgement number, and the mobile number. OTP will come. You enter that OTP and it is valid for 15 minutes. And once you enter that, the return is e-verified. Then you can download. And if it is beyond 120 days, then the condonation has to be filed and the return can be verified. Condonation earlier on the old portal, we were supposed to file manually with the assessing officer, but now it has been provided on the portal itself. So these are the various options which are available. All guiding steps are provided on the portal itself. We can just go to the help option and we can get everything, the process, what is to be done. They have explained by each of the steps which I have not covered in this particular presentation because the time allotted was very, very limited. And typically this is the way things will happen. You can log into your account, go to e-verify return, select the return for verification. All the messages, everything is guided on the portal itself. And typically when we look at after we file the return, this kind of a mark you can see on your dashboard. It is similar to when we travel by the train, we find the charts are provided in the train key. What station will come next? Similar way, if you have uploaded the return, what is the status? Is it under processing, whether processed? Everything is reflected on the portal itself. So this is the more of a on the concept of dashboard. DSC registration. It has to be registered in the individual PAN of the assessee. It can be for self, karta, partner, directors, trustee, board of advisors, or any other capacity. And once you register in the DSC in the individual PAN in your profile, then you need not register anywhere else. It will be auto captured in the HUF return or your firm return or LLP returns or a company returns or trust returns or any other returns that you have. Similarly, same digital signature will be captured in TDS returns. And if you are filing the return as a representative assessee, then also it will be auto captured. If you are an auditor, then also it will be captured in the ARCA profile as well as in your. Only exception that has been provided in respect of the NRI directors who don't hold PAN numbers, they will register through company login ID. And this has been enabled 3 days back. And EM Signer download is a must. It is similar to what we have, though it has been requested to have a common EM Signer for MCA, income tax, as well as GST. But whether it will be implemented or not, that is not known to us. Assisted filing. Taxpayer can appoint chartered accountant to do the filing or e-return intermediary or any authorized representative. CA, we know it's anybody who is a member of ICI. And they can do certain compliances as applicable. Similarly, e-return intermediary is also given certain options. They can have use the departmental utilities or they can build their own software to provide the services. What they can do and what they cannot do, everything is listed down. The best feature, ERI or a chartered accountant or an authorized representative can be removed by the taxpayer at any given point of time, which was not the case earlier. So when we look at the assisted filing, the reason which is given, if a resident assessee or any taxpayer, which can be resident as well as non-resident, if you are staying outside India, or if you are a non-resident or any other reasons, then you can appoint the authorized representative. but that has to be resident person with the PAN number. That is a must. For a non-resident, it is always an agent. Whereas for the corporates, it will be non-resident foreign director without PAN and valid DSC. DSC can be issued without the PAN number also, which all of us must be aware of if we are exposed to such a situation. Similarly, estate of deceased, company under liquidation, discontinued or closed business, merger and acquisitions, and estate of insolvent. These are the other categories of the people who can also appoint the authorized representative. And these are the designated people who can be appointed as an authorized representative while filing the IT returns, or who are notified to or competent to e-verify the returns. Some do and don'ts. When we are doing the filing, please verify the profile verifications and confirmations. Sometimes because of the profile non-update, sometimes issues are created, but if profile verification is complete, then it will be very useful. Sources of income and its classification has to be properly done. Previous year's IT returns to be properly verified. Challans reporting has to be very, very particular. Tax deductions and tax exemptions. Here, it was provided that once you pay the tax, the challan will be auto-populated in the IT returns, but that is not happening as of now. Computation should be verified and reviewed by the different people, so that if any errors that are caught, especially if there are carry forward of losses or brought forward of losses, that is to be properly verified with the previous year's returns as well as the intimations. Proper 26AS reconciliation, annual information reporting, GST reconciliations, capital gains calculations, TDS, TCS, vis-a-vis cross reporting of sources of income has to be meticulously verified. If you are reporting exempt income, be very particular to ensure that it is definitely exempt. Whatever you are reporting in financial statements, same thing is reported in ITR, there is no mistake. And if there is a mistake, ensure to revise the return as early as possible. ICADS compliances, if applicable, should be done. If you are claiming the depreciation, ensure that you have a proper documentary evidences and proper impact is given. MAT and AMD, if it is applicable, do it perfectly. If any other forms are required to be filed, or if tax audit reports are required to be filed, then ensure they are filed in time and filing of such information is properly reported in ITR. If there is a withholding tax on account of the foreign source of income, then do file Form 67 before the due date. Otherwise, you will not be eligible to claim such withholding tax. Disclosure of assets and liabilities when the income exceeds 50 lakhs will apply in the cases of individuals and the HUFs. But foreign assets will not apply because there is a specific schedule available. Unlisted shares, details have to be meticulously filled up. If we are reporting the transfer of shares in such schedule, and if you are not reported in the capital gains schedule, then return will be treated as invalid because such inbuilt checks are provided for. DIN number disclosures are mandatory. When we are looking at the profile of the corporate associates, in the director's profile, even if the DSC is registered in the individual profile, but in the company profile, it is not shown as DSC registered. Don't worry about it. It is a system issue. If there is a prior period items vis-a-vis method of accounting, then properly report correctly in TAR also. Accounts receivable and accounts payable analysis has to be done from the perspective of MSME interest provisions, as MSME data is also getting reconciled with the income tax data and other aspects. Especially considering the digital transactions of Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, lot of people are receiving the cash back that is subject to tax. Please offer it to tax as applicable. Conclusions. There is no 100% formula. We get the raw data. We need to convert into moderate, and then when it is reasonable, we will be ready for filing. It has to be accurate as well as timely. Please plan your affairs in timely manner. This chart, we have seen it earlier. But if any kind of a disallowances are applicable in ITR as well as in tax audit reports, then please ensure you report in ITR. Don't take a chance, because a lot of notices have been flown in for such kind of adjustments by 143(1)(a) for AY 2021. Especially, a lot of people have reported the contingent liabilities in the tax audit reports, and now for which the additions are made in the IT returns and the taxes demanded. Last but least, if the information reported in financial statement is not equal to computation information as well as the ITR reporting, we are inviting the trouble. ITR means income tax return. I say it is an information trail review. AIR is annual information reports. It is accurate, entail resources. SFT, specified financial transactions. I say it is a systems, factual, timeless transparency. Everything is getting transparent. Whether processing within 1 day is a reality, dream, or fantasy, that is a question mark. But in future, couple of years down the line, we may see it. All of us are facing the unprecedented challenges on the portal, but gradually I expect it to be addressed. Recent changes have been provided under the Minimum Wages Act, which provided if more than 3,000 wages is payable, then it is to be paid through bank only. So look at this change. If that is not complied, what implication it will have? We need to be 100% aware because of the digital synchronization amongst the department. And we need to have the KYC of our clients also handy. Self-validation of related party has to be done, deductions as well as the exemptions. If we are following any particular stand while filing the returns, and if that is disputed, then ensure that is consistently accepted, followed at the higher levels of litigations. And whenever we are filing the returns of income, we should be 100% knowledge about the return filing. Tech requirements we should be aware of. In future, we can anticipate the group returns. It may happen, as of there is no proposal now, but in future it may be introduced, looking at the developments. The last but least, why government is increasing so much disclosure every now and then? What they want to achieve? Will it increase the expansion? Will it increase the compliance? Will it promote the easiness? That point one needs to address. And I feel compliances should be provided for, but that should be reasonable, and that should consider the grassroots reality of the country. I go back to school journey of exploration. Today, what I have explained is the tip of iceberg in the ocean. And with this, I conclude my presentation. I appreciate all of you. I always say one should surround yourself with the people who talk about vision and ideas and not people. With this, I conclude my presentation here.
Thank you, sir.
Praveen, we can go for question answer session.
Yes,
First, we
yes.
will take questions which have come in the chat box, and then whoever wants to ask the question, we can unmute them.
Okay, Pankaj, surely. Sir, the very first question is newly qualified CA are unable to register as a CA on income tax website. How to resolve this issue?
That issue has been notified, and probably it will be addressed soon.
Okay. DSC is not getting registered in some cases. Transaction ID is not generated after registering the DSC.
It can be a pen-based issue, or sometimes it can be a technology issue, or it can be browser issue. A lot of people are facing the issue of DSC registrations, but ideally what we should do for any kind of problems that are encountered on the new portal, ideally one should remove the cache, temporary files, cookies, disable the antivirus, and restart the system. 99% this issue may be addressed. And there are many softwares which are available, free download, which one can download on the portal, maybe CCleaner or whatever the equivalent. Software is available. If you run that, then all this cache, temp, and cookies are automatically removed, and it is addressed. But yes, still people are facing the issue of DSC registrations. It is not deniable, but it is a fact. But as compared to the launch, the gravity is reduced substantially.
It means there is no technical hitch from the side of the department. It is related to software or cache like that.
Maybe.
Okay.
If we are using the software, then probably that interface integration would be provided to the software providers also. So one has to see how things pan out.
Okay. Sir, next question is, while doing ARCA login, it always required DSC to be attached.
So why this issue must have been faced? Key high security option must have been enabled when first time it was logged in. If that is disabled, this will be called for. This won't be required.
Okay. Okay, sir. Bank validation problem on IT portal. Because of that, return are unable to file.
No, that is even if the bank account is not validated, IT returns will get filed, but only if there is a refund due, then that will not be processed till the bank account is validated.
Okay. Sir, then EVC is not, we are not able to generate the EVC.
Net banking has an issue. It is not happening. We have tried. So one has to either go through the Aadhaar OTP or go through ATM or other way around. But net banking is not happening. Demat is not happening. That is what I have tested. I have not succeeded. Some of you may have succeeded, but I have not succeeded. Let me be very clear and honest.
Okay. DSC is registered in individual capacity. Now at the time of filing Form 10A of trust, same DSC of trustee is showing not registered. We are unable to remove that trustee also. What to do?
Trustee, if the DSC is registered in the individual PAN of the trustee, but in the profile section, if it is reflected as not registered, it will not create the problem of filing the 10A application. Same thing is happening with the corporate assessees also, where if you look at the profile of the directors, DSC not registered is reflected, but documents are able to sign by the directors. There is no problem. But you have to authorize that particular person for e-verification, e-verify option.
Okay. So next question is, assessee's earlier filed ITR form cannot be seen on portal. To get them, what should be done? Can we file grievance or any other way?
Old ITR forms are getting downloaded now.
Now, okay. Okay.
See, I will tell you one thing. Whatever issues you will say now, even I have encountered that issues. It was not happening. And then it got resolved. But sometimes it can resurface also. Quite possible.
Okay.
But now, as a general thumb rule for all, if all of you are filing the returns, then what you should do, as soon as the return is filed, please download the acknowledgement as well as the income tax return from the portal itself. If it is not happening immediately on a real-time basis, do it on the second day. But do it and keep it in your folders.
Okay.
It is just standby as a protocol to be followed. At least we are following that practice in our office.
Okay. Sir, email ID and mobile number not appearing in remitter's detail of 15 CA, even though profile has a email ID and mobile number. In case of 15 CA.
It is possible. 15 CA has got a lot of issues. This must be a technical slave. We should file the grievance for the same.
Okay. ITR 2 of HUF is facing a lot of issues. Hope they are aware about it. Can there be any way that we, the people, will get to know what updation is done and which one is pending?
HUF returns are getting filed. I have personally filed the HUF return in ITR 2. Only the issue which I have encountered, which I know of, there are two issues. If the date of birth of HUF say was 1481, that has been reflected as 1/4/2001 or 1st January 0001, that returns are not getting filed. But rest of the HUF returns are getting filed. There were a lot of issues in the ITR 2, ITR 3, but they are resolved. I have verified in the afternoon today.
Okay. When ITR 3 and 5 enabled on portal?
ITR 3 is already enabled.
And 5?
5 is not enabled.
So when is there any possibility?
No idea. I can't give you anything.
Okay, okay, sir. No issues. Not able to compile with the notices under e-proceeding tab. Not allowing to upload XML.
Which assessment year?
That it is not written, sir. Okay.
It must be pertaining to the reassessment
Okay.
proceedings under 148. XML is only for up to AY 2021. From AY 21-22 onwards, only JSON file will be uploaded. There is no concept of XML file at all.
Intimation not getting downloaded.
It is not happening.
Okay. In profile of assessee, Aadhaar is registered, but while generating OTP, it says first registered Aadhaar.
Again, system issue, grievance to be registered. And what you should do, key Aadhaar number verification on the Aadhaar portal, save the screenshot and attach to a grievance.
Okay. One of my client taken hotel on rent to run business, but GST number of hotel taken on owner's name. Then both are liable to pay tax on hotel's turnover or not, because GST number is registered on owner's name. This is related to GST, what I think.
But it is, we are in the income tax.
Yes. Sorry, sir. So even that will keep
I
us
can answer all this question, but
no,
let us
sir.
limit it to income tax only.
Yes. We are here to have income tax questions. In some cases, return is filed, but acknowledgement is not available immediately. In one case, even after 1 month of e-verification, final ITR 5 not available. Where to file complaint or what is a solution?
Grievance, and there is a dedicated email ID provided on the website. There you should register. And on the safe side, you should mark the email to Finance Ministry, also as the jurisdiction AO.
Okay. capital gains calculation system is not considering cost of improvement. It gets saved, but when we move out of COI, it gets added back to capital gain, resulting in increase in income from capital gains. How to raise the grievance?
It is only grievance mechanism with a snapshot you can raise. But
Okay.
capital gains had a lot of issues, but now it has been addressed. We have filed couple of the income tax return with the capital gains calculations covering the various aspects of capital gain: equity mutual funds, debt, security transactions taxes paid, no security transaction tax. We have verified that aspect, but the cost of improvements, that is, yeah, maybe some issue will be there, but that will be addressed. But better to file a grievance and mark a CC to everywhere.
Okay. It is creating problems, sir. DSC is not operating. I think this is, you have already answered the catch and all. We have to check. Okay. In such a case, remove the trustee and add other one many I saw in this way. Okay, please unmute me.
वो ट्रस्टी का जो क्वेश्चन किसी ने पूछा था ना, उसके लिए ये एम काबरा जवाब दे रहे हैं कि ट्रस्टी उसको रिमूव करके आप किसी और को डालिए तो हो जाएगा. He has solved that.
Yes.
ठीक है. इनकम टैक्स पोर्टल साथ ही आज बढ़ाना है, एक दूसरे को हेल्प करना, ऐसा चल रहा है अभी तो. Even if he can answer, it's good.
Sapna Lunawat, you have to wait. I'll unmute at the end. Verification OTP time is too very short. Time valid, only 10 seconds. Then after not verified, return same OTP. Portal shown error, OTP is expired.
It's a system snag issue.
So then we have to put up to the what I feel the you are.
It is already been notified.
Okay.
Everything see, they are aware about everything, but I recommend only one thing as a thumb rule. Any issue that you are facing, keep a snapshots and file a grievance on the same day itself.
Okay, because sir, many of them are.
This is an unprecedented development which we are encountering, and what we are seeing is a I don't know whether we'll be able to see such a scenario again in our lifetime.
Okay. Unable to download the communications sent to assessee, maybe assessment order, notice for payment of outstanding dues, etc.
That is getting downloaded. Submissions are getting downloaded. That is perfectly working.
Okay.
110%. This is, I have verified in our office cases a lot.
This is questioned by our Keurji sir, the chairman of Akola branch.
Sir, today itself I tried to have download a particular notice, outstanding dues demand, and it was relating to the assessment year 11-12. And it is showing as that there is a outstanding demand, pending outstanding demand, but wasn't getting downloaded. I was able to download the return. I was able to download the ITR form for that assessment year, but this particular part couldn't got down, was not downloaded. Have kept the screenshots, already kept the screenshots for this.
Better to file a grievance.
Okay.
Better to file a grievance. I will tell you one more thing also. If there is a demand outstanding, and if you will try to go and file the reply that this demand is adjusted against the refund dues, then you will not be able to. They will say this is already taken care. You will get this response also. So you will not be able to e-verify it also. It may happen. Huh? I have encountered such a situation. That's why I can tell you this.
Okay. Is 10 IE form necessary for filing ITR 1 and ITR 2?
It is to be opted in 1 and 2. I have already clarified.
Okay. Even after filing return, received on screen that return is filed successfully, but no acknowledgement is generated. Also try filing it again, so it's getting filed again and again.
That is what I told you. Once it is filed, and if there is a notification, it is successfully filed. Don't file the same again. It has happened. Same day, 3 returns got filed. It has become a complete Twitter and the Facebook circulation all over the country.
Okay. Different date of birth in PAN and profile showing in case of HUF.
I have already told you that.
Okay. What is caught error described as NULL, null, unable to upload ITR?
That is again a system issue. And why it must have been generated, as I understand, कि some fields, like for in profile section, you have used the special characters, or while filing the forms, you have used the special characters. That is creating such an issue. So you should remove the special characters which were provided. Okay, you cannot use the certain special characters. If you remove that, probably this issue may be addressed.
Okay. Refund is due from past 5 months. Portal show that return process, but refund due. I also validate the bank account of so and so bank. What can I do?
Only wait.
Return is not e-verified with after entering Aadhaar OTP also. Is there any?
Try again and again.
Notice under section 271D was issued on 29 July. Response submitted date was 5th August. But when I logged in on 29 July, submit response was disabled and proceeding were closed. Order not getting downloaded due to server issue as per portal.
This has happened in many of the cases. Probably some clarification may come in.
Okay. Option of rectification request is not being displayed under services.
It is not enabled only.
Okay.
The time limit is 4 years, no? That's why that is not enabled.
Okay. If DSC registration proceed, then message appeared that something went wrong. Please try again.
Yes, it is a common issue. Why it must be happening, that also I'll tell you. Because of the broadband speed, it happens. Because when we are trying to sign the documents, it happens.
We are facing issue in acceptance of AR appointment after attaching DSC process not getting completed. Grievance raised remain unanswered since July 21st.
I have filed the grievance on 10th of June. That is not addressed. None of the grievances are addressed. So you should be happy. Everybody is in the same ship.
So then is there, we are putting forward this in front of the finance ministry or the Infosys that at least you should have to answer the grievance, because this is not the point we are raising the grievance and it is unanswered.
You are raising the grievance, but right now all the energy is applied for the removing the glitches which are come to know, and the grievances will take the compliance module accordingly after they establish and stabilize everything. That is what my view.
Grievances are part of it, I think.
It is part of that, but right now the other aspects are more important.
Sir, it is very okay, no issues. We are on a formal platform. I cannot comment anything. We'll go
there are
more
many
ahead,
things
sir.
I can't comment.
Yeah, sir, because if there are certain issues, then why there is a deadline and each and everything? That if I have to try Aadhaar OTP for more than one time, so we have a lot of other work also, and no CA is having only 5 or 10 returns. We are having so much.
Not in our control.
Yeah. Okay, no issue, sir. In other cases, notice under section 271D was issued on 21st July. Response submitted date was 30th July. But when I logged in on 29th July, submit response tab was disabled and proceeding. I think that is already you have told that this issue is coming. Reminder received for faceless assessment, but no notice is available on new portal.
It will come in pipeline.
Okay. During filing Form 10A for trust renewal, asset and liability schedule is not enabled also. Income schedule is not enabled. Query raised before 8 days from client login, but the same is not resolved till the date. Kindly provide the solution for the same.
See, I'll tell you, I'm not doing much of the trust activities, but I'll tell you what is the way out. Whatever the form that is applicable 10A, ideally one should print that particular form. And if you have selected the correct code, and if you have selected the correct bullets, then you may not face certain issues. Because such issues which I have been told by my counterparts who are into the trust, they have said that people who are doing the filing of such information, proper codes are not selected, and that's why this issue is getting triggered. But it can be genuine issue also.
Kshitija Lauti ji, sir already answered your question. How to file rectification? No tab under service. Sir told that 4 years time period is there. That's why that tab is not enabled. Next question, Form 10 IE error in Aadhaar in not linked with PAN error.
So if the Aadhaar and PAN is not linked, probably that may be, or it can be a system issue. There are instances where Aadhaar and the PAN are linked, but the system is not capturing that data.
Okay. If trust return is filed, we are not required to give asset and liability schedule.
If you have filed the returns of, say, up to assessment year 2021, then you are not supposed to required to file any information pertaining to the assets and liabilities. If you have selected the correct code, then
Okay.
only.
Old file return not showing on portal. Now you
It is
said
showing.
now it is showing. So Ashok ji Miniar, you have to check. Sir is saying now it is showing. In Form 26 AS, data related to GST is shown. At what frequency the system updates the data as client are facing problem related to GST data, and only amount of GSTR 3B is mentioned in it. What about GSTR 1 detail? Will there be any provision to show the details?
It will be, see, all the information that is reported in 26 AS of GST is derived from 3B only. But if you have a reconciliation of GST vis-a-vis your income tax return, then that reconciliation would suffice correctly. There is one more issue which I don't know whether any one of you have noticed or not. If you look at the figures of December 2020, the turnover reporting was doubled. Suppose you have filed 1 lakh rupees as the turnover in 3B, it must have been reflected as 2 lakh rupees. And right now, this information is updated every 3 months.
Okay.
Because that is provided under the rule. Any competent authority is required to update this information electronically within 3 months from the date of receipt. Mandatory by law. Section 285BA.
Okay. Even on Samadhan email ID, no satisfying response is received. You have already told in your case also. Grievances are not properly.
I have filed on 10th of June. I can
Yes.
show you right now on the screen share also.
If any mistakes are done in GST returns, what reputation could be faced by the assessee on income tax portal with respect to data fetched from GST portal?
See, the data which has been fetched from the GST portal cannot be rectified. So whatever is correct, you are supposed to file the correct income tax return.
Okay.
There can be reconciliation. If inquiry is asked, you reconcile the figures and give it to them.
Okay. Sir, one request is there to share the email ID for grievances.
Okay, I'll share that.
Okay.
And remember one thing, whenever any one of us are doing the income tax compliances, don't bring income tax and GST together. Both are on a different aspect altogether. Though they don't go well, but we need to reconcile together.
Yes, sir. Form 15 CA and 15 CB not proper way to file on new portal. Assigned to CA form 15 CB fill up detail in part C in form 15C. But assessee not liable to file part C. He eligible to file form 15 CA part D. But in part D, no given assigned form 15 CB. How to resolve?
I have to check this aspect.
Okay, sir. While filing form 15G and H in income
1 minute.
detail,
1
the
minute.
error-
There is a complete guideline available for filing of 15 CA-CB on the portal. If you visit that, they have explained the complete steps in that particular thing, and that query would be addressed mostly by that.
Malpani sir, sir is saying that there is one what we say information is available like sir some of the queries they said that it is not they are not able to open it.
15 CA-CB?
हाँ नहीं वो जो आप बोल रहे हैं that video और information is available guideline जो available है ना
I'll share with the Pankaj sir, and then we can circulate amongst the members.
yeah. While filing form 15G and H in income details, the error of the section invalid is shown in CSV. How to rectify it?
That must be a technical glitch.
Okay. प्रसाद जी सर ने ऑलरेडी आंसर दे चुके हैं. After attaching DSC process not getting completed, grievance raised remaining unanswered since July 21. काफी दिनों से सर का भी unanswered है. So we have to wait. Sorry, sir. I will have to leave now. I wanted to download ITR of assessment years before 2021 for rebate under section 89 purpose, but file return cannot be seen. How to get them? I think, sir, now you said that the purani returns be download ho rahe
It is available.
Okay.
So,
Okay. That,
even XML files of the old returns are getting downloaded. There is no problem.
okay. Problem in making condonation request, it shows error on portal, but we get a mail saying it is filed successfully. Filed several times, but there is no record of the same on the portal. That you said he file only once. That is the solution. While DSC registration, private key not found error. That I
Pardon?
think technique. While registering DSC, private key not found. This error is showing. I think that is technical issue related to system.
This is a very peculiar issue. No, there is one peculiar issue for the DSC also. It is a very old DSC.
Okay.
The token. Then it doesn't work. You need to get a new DSC and then register it.
Sir, one query is there. March 19 ITR is not filed. Now we have to file because there is some TDS related to that year.
No option.
No option. For business income option with new regime, can the option be withdrawal in subsequent year of filing return?
New tax regime?
Huh?
No.
No. Why old code?
Once
Okay.
exercised, you cannot withdraw that option till you discontinue your business or you don't have an income from business or profession.
Okay. Why old portal is not restored as too many glitches and issues are there in new portals? Have ICI suggested for the restoration?
I will refrain from making any statement on this.
Yes. Okay, sir. Is 10 IE is necessary for filing ITR 1 and 2? Please clarify.
Well, already answered.
Already answered.
No. She is telling she was not able to hear it at that time. So please answer it once.
Okay. Sorry, there was a network issue while you are highlighting the above point.
ITR 1 and 2, assessee has to select in the IT return itself. Whereas for ITR 3 and 4, ITR Form 10 IE has to be filed, and that filing and the acknowledgement number has to be reported in ITR 3 and 4. Whereas In ITR 1 and 2, it is not required.
Okay. Still there is no resolution. The error is continue from 15G and H.
15G and H, there will be, I think now it is addressed, but
Okay.
recently if anything has come up, then I may not be aware.
Okay.
It is very dynamic. It is dynamic, like similar to faceless assessment, faceless appeal, and faceless penalty. We don't know what happens the next moment.
Okay. Okay, sir. I think all the questions now, participant, those who want to ask the questions, kindly raise your hand. We'll unmute you and you can directly have a chat with the sir.
One question in the chat box.
Yes. Sir, under 115 BAC, it can be withdrawn once in subsequent year, but under 115 BAD, it is not withdrawable once opted. Please guide.
Yes. BAC can be opted each year by salaried persons.
Okay. I think, sir, all the questions अभी repeat हो रहे थे, तो all the questions are. have been
किसी
answered.
को query तो you can just raise your hands, so we will unmute you.
Now I request chairman
I think Sandeep has not there. He had some. Yeah, Sandeep is there, I believe. Yes, Sandeep is there.
yeah.
Sandeep, are you there? Sandeep?
Sandeep
No,
bhai?
no, I think he had some work, so he has left in emergency.
Okay,
You
not
please
an issue.
continue.
Okay. On the behalf of Aurangabad branch of WIRC of ICAI and Akola and Nagar branch, I would like to have a gratitude and thanks, sir, that you have come and given us the knowledge on this new portal, and you have given the answers to various questions. Still, we think there will be an improvement day by day. जैसे भी होता रहेगा. So we have to try for it, and thanks a lot from all the three branches, sir. And
So there is all possibility कि अब लोग हमको पर्सनल पे कुछ क्वेरी भेजे, वो मैं आपको आपके व्हाट्सएप पे भेजूं और आपको थोड़ा परेशान करें हम लोग.
And I would like to thank Akola and Nagar branch also, and I would like to thank all the participants. They have joined this session, asked their queries, and that's it. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
I hope everybody enjoyed.
Sir, do you have that mail ID? So we'll immediately put it
I
into a chat box. So
I will share. I will
okay,
share.
okay. You will share with Pankaj, sir. Not an issue.
Yes, I will share.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.